What's crack-a-lack? And this is your boy Lucky Loco coming at you with the new video. Now let's get into the introduction to me to the YouTube Yarda. Before it was even called that, man. You heard the introduction. You remember that beat. For anybody that remembers that beat, man, let's take you back to the good old days of the YouTube, man. That was the beat you listened to about 4 or 5 times a day. Amazing stories. Some true, a lot of them, I don't know, sound like a little, like he would say, a little bit tapatio up on that, like in a menudo fashion, bro. So let's get into Gunner's Collective, man. Day Oneer, man. Been watching his content, and every once in a while I will watch his content, watch the live every once in a while and see what's cracking with the dude, you know what I mean? So let's get into the area of Gunner. So Gunner comes onto the YouTube yard. There comes with the story of a homicide when he was a little kid, man. You know, whether true or not. Still a dramatic story, man. I watched it. I remember showing everybody his content, his YouTube and stuff. And this video ain't bashing him, dude. This is just my experience to the YouTube Yarda. And through my eyes, through my lenses, and my acknowledgement of what will happen, man. You know, we get into the whole thing, man. You know, he comes on, and he came on fucking Gunner the Juggernaut, bro. He came on swinging, came out just knocking people off their pedestals. Studio Savage and him got into. But let's get into the beginning of it. When he just had like 20,000 followers, and that's a lot, bro. I mean, I'm struggling. I got 1,300 followers, and that's fine. But yeah, so Gunner comes on, me being an ex-Northerner and him being an ex-Northerner, and me not really knowing the rules and regulations of California from being an out-of-stater, you know what I mean? So this stuff's kind of intriguing. So I'd definitely say the reason why it got so, this is during the C days, the COVID 19 days. So a lot of people had a lot of times on their hands. So, the best entertainment at that time, man, I ain't gonna lie, was Gunner's Collective, Convicts Perspective, Paradigm Media News. So let's get into the many victims of the people that, fell victim to Gunner. And like I said, this ain't no shot at him, dude. And like I said, this is just me explaining why I think I was fooled into the whole thing. Was you had great people on there, like a Convicts Perspective, people, notable people, respectable people, like you had respectable people like Rojo. That was ex-NF, ex-mobster, you know what I mean? That ran in the same, seemed like they ran in the same crew, like, and then you had Flacco, an historian dude that would know his knowledge about the, whatever part of a crew he ran with, and explained his history of what was going on. Then you had Paradigm Media News, big box. And you had all these people, man, and you had one person that just stuck out from the rest of the crew. And that was Gunner. Charismatic, funny dude, man. And I got along with the lives, and, and he did a lot for my business. That's why I don't think I'll ever bash him. I'll laugh at the content that Chemo makes or Triple OG. But you never really see me out here saying F this dude and F that. And because, you got to remember who was there for you too. So, big shout out to Gunner for giving my business a shout out, man. Not a lot of the other channels were doing that, man. That's why I cash apped you. Super chatted you all the time, man. I really appreciated them times, bro, because you looked out for a homeboy in his Native American business. So let's get back into my experience. So we get into, I get off work, and, I'd even play him at the restaurant when I did have a restaurant. And, he was a funny dude, bro. And, the stories that come on. And I just remember when it started turning for me. And it was, he was a funny dude. And he had a crew. He had Bean 209. He had all these different people that was rolling with him. And then, he made the lives funny. He made the lives jump in. And, Rojo, great dude too. And still, I reach out to him to see if he'll jump on a live with me or see what's up. And, another person that, these are people with history and knowledge, man. And you would think, somebody pushing that narrative, saying, calling the Skinner, scalping people, slicing their throats, and and sitting there saying, "Oh, I was, paper checking people at the nightclubs, and making sure people were correct before they went to a nightclub wherever dead end area is, and Merced." So you have this one person saying all these stories, man, and there was these three people at the time didn't call bullshit. And you're sitting like, man, this crazy dude telling these stories, man. Appreciate these stories, because before any of the social media and all this other stuff, we had to watch stuff on Gangland, a little bit of our documentary on Discovery that just gave you a little tiny glimpse of what the inside world of prison is like. So you get on YouTube, you're watching a couple too short Mac Dre videos, and then little did I know that you could upload your own content to make your own stories, man. I had no clue whatsoever. I just used YouTube for music, because at that time they had CDs that you listen to for like one song, and you didn't want to go pay $20. You're like, hey, man, I'm going to throw it on YouTube. So I'm scrolling through YouTube, and I start seeing these Savage Studios, and started watching him. And, the algorithm I didn't even know what the hell algorithm was, bro. It just threw me into a whole different mix of prison content. So I'm watching the prison content, and I'm watching Savage Studios. Then I started seeing his interviews. I was like, man, this is a pretty crazy dude too, man. He's telling stories and all this other stuff, and, you watch all this stuff, and it's interesting. I ain't gonna lie, it's interesting. People have been on the same path as me, as them, slanging, banging, going into the system, not rolling it up. For some of us didn't, but yeah. So all this stuff, and then let's get into watching this stuff and the many victims. So as I start watching, people start beefing with each other. And I really dug Gunner, bro. And still kind of do. You know what I mean? He's a funny dude. I mean, I really don't have no problems with him. He may BS me, and, my bad for believing it. The only reason why I believed it is because there was high notable people that one had a book, one was mentioned in books, and then you had one that was part of the crew too, that just let him tell all these stories, man, and he got away with it. And so you're sitting there believing it, and I just remember, man, I was watching Alive, bro, and like a lot of us were at the time, and that's how a lot of us met. I was watching Alive, and Homeboy was like, "Oh, you seen me in that music video?" And which led to the whole thing of, having a falling out with people, because he was like, "Yeah, I knew Woody, Speedy Loke, and I went and put in work with Woody. Me and him did some hales and all this, just all this stuff." Because I remember watching, homie. I'm not doing this for clout or anything like that. I just want to explain my side of the story of why I fell for it. And that's the reason, I fell for the whole thing. And, you sit there and you're intrigued. You're like, man, this homie's really out here doing it. And he's on YouTube beefing with these rappers from Merced and all this other crazy stuff, dude. And yeah, and so with all that said, it's with all these other people, these high-ranking people, not calling BS. You know what I mean? I understand money's good. I guess money's money, and you're gonna let somebody, it's your story, and I'll let you tell it type of situation. And so let's get our introduction. So we're getting all into it, and I almost kind of jump into the beef with it, man. I started jumping over to Savage Studios while he was alive. Rest in peace, brother. And started talking shit on there. And then next thing you know, we get into Crazy Nick calling him out, saying all this stuff. And I was on the bandwagon of Gunner and going over there and probably see a couple of my posts where I'm talking smack to Crazy Nick. Follow the drip, follow the drip, follow the drip. And so as I'm over there, and I get, feel like I'm fucking part of the crew. I'm with part of fucking Gunner, Rojo, a Convict's Perspective, the whole crew they had over there, 209, Bane, just they had the dream team, bro, the whole Northern California car, which was dope, bro, because we never seen anything like that. Me being an ex-Northerner, still got the love and respect for it, and it's And it was cool to see all this stuff go down. And and then so he's in there saying all this stuff about being with Woody, hanging out with him, getting at Megan. And then, there's another person that was coming up, and his name was Joshua. It was the homie hangout. And so the homie hangout gets on there, and the homie hangout knows these people, and he calls them on it. And that's one thing about Rascal, is that he's not going to sit by and let you BS. He's not going to sit there. He's going to call you on it. Whether he's your friend, a lot of people call him a snake, a backstabber, and all this other stuff. I could say he's somebody that just doesn't condone JCap behavior, which is respectable, even if it costs friendships, even if it costs people to separate. And that's something you got to respect, man. Whether you like it or not, it's something that I respect. I still watch the people that he doesn't get along with, or they don't get along with him for some weird reason, whatever. But so shout out to the homie hangout and the Rascals. So watching them get into all this stuff, and they start, going back and forth. And then I just remember the lives are popping. We met so many people. We had Sundown on there. We had Smitty. We had Fartbox Bobby. We had Beanloke. We had Bean Sun on there. We had 209 on there, just laughing, chopping up. And it was a fun time. It was a time where you couldn't get out and about, and so you're sitting around and you're watching these music, or watching them play music, laugh, joke, and Tooth, and all this other stuff. What was that other guy's name? Ty, getting hit in the head by Shabazz, and just all this different stuff, man. And Shabazz was, profile popped up and started, it was fun times. We were laughing. I was on the butt end of those jokes when I first jumped on the live. I look back, I was like seeing what people were saying. Y'all was some ruthless mother truckers, bro. Saying some crazy shit about your boy Lucky Loco, but it was funny. Like, it was like, man, these people really put my restaurant on. All these people start seeing what I'm doing, changing my life around, give me a little tiny spotlight, bro, and it was a good feeling. And so, as time goes on, these stories of going with Woody, I was like, fuck, dude, really? Really? Like, holy shit, he's over there saying he put in work with Woody, Speedy Loke, and they're checking paperwork at the door, cutting people's faces off, and scalping people. And I started thinking about all this stuff. It's like, man, I remember going to the shoe and getting ridden up in fights and all this other stuff, man. And I got street charges for, you know what I mean? It was just like I got years added onto my sins. So these numbers just weren't adding up, and the stories weren't adding up. And then you see people on these lives, and everybody getting down, everybody having fun, dude. And you see Flacco, he's getting married. He's got a girlfriend, and he moves, and he's over there. He would jump on the live once in a while, but he wasn't really into it. He used to call it the circus. And, and it was kind of the party poop. Oh, I'm getting out of here, bro. This is just getting too crazy for me. Which is, if that was his way of going. But, man, we were having fun. There would be, man, hundreds of us watching these lives, just having a laugh, good time. And, you'd even see Boxer jump on once in a while. You see all these people jump on, and the people expressing their feelings, laughing, joking, and, smiling through all this turmoil of people passing away from the C word, and our loved ones, our friends, our relatives passing away, certain stuff going on, Tim Hennessy jumping on, man. And, a lot of these great characters, it was like Voltron, just everybody getting together and just having a blast. And that's just how it was. So that was my introduction. This is how it was going. So as time goes on, other people start like, hey man, look what Gunner's doing, look what Flacco's doing, look at all these other people are doing. You start seeing more people jump on. Let's get into APA. APA jumps on. He wasn't showing his face. He's sharing stories. And for some weird reason, they start beefing with Gunner. And my bad to you, L. I even jumped on. I was still on the Gunner bandwagon, started talking smack about you too. Just wasn't really commenting on the post. Like I just like put a LOL when, yeppa. Triple OG Triple OG would go in on you. And, it was, to me at that time, I thought it was amusing, thought it was funny. And then you start seeing certain stuff of like women, children being brought into this. It's like, man, that's, Pepe don't belong in Londa. That's low class. Even, jokes can only go so far, man. If somebody was just attacking Al and saying all this stuff, man, that's one thing. But once you start bringing like women into it and saying, somebody's wife, and, I could see the breakdown of L, coming in, swinging, and, and going after the juggernaut of Rojo. I don't think Flacco really got into it. So as he gets into it, he's really, you could see like how pissed off this guy is. You can tell L, he's a crazy dude, bro. I don't think it's somebody who you really want to piss off. And he's not really into the keyboard warrior stuff. And I think if Gunner was an arm's length, I think Gunner really would have had the business handed to him, because Al just has a certain character strength about him that's different. You could see the perpetually, what do you call it, the violence that he would carry if need be. So for being around people that you grew up in a world of violence and illers, and just, I grew up around it too, bro. So you just see a certain character trait in people, and I think L is one of them people. Not talking smack on you, L, just giving you respect, and and seeing him go through it, and then you see all this stuff that went on, and then you know and then I started, when I started seeing certain stuff being attacked, and if you're jumping on L's channel, people be like, hey, go over to Gunner's channel, man, get out of here if you go on. And then if you're watching APA and you get over there, like, hey, go over to APA, go over to this person's channel, and people start trolling you and start talking. They even start coming at my business too. That's one thing I didn't like either, bro. And if I ever catch you, bro, I'm telling you, it's on. I have no problem hopping in my car and coming to you and come giving you your business too. But that's that's my livelihood. That's my way I made my money, and I still make my money. But there were certain stuff that I didn't condone. There's certain things that, from being a warrior, from being a warrior, being locked up. That's one thing I never did with Cell Soldier. I've never called anybody names unless it was to their face. And there's people that did it to me, Cell Soldier, and it's a pussy move, bro. I don't care what nobody says. It's a pussy move. And I just didn't really, as you can see, I started fading away, and I started getting messages from people that rolled with Gunner and were like, hey man, how come you haven't been on the live lately? They're just fishing for information. I'm fucking born yesterday, born criminal too, bro. So it's just like, been busy. And really, wasn't my cup of tea no more. Wasn't America's cup of tea, eh? But yeah, so with L, and then nobody was really safe, bro. Through the chats and stuff like that, you become friends with people, and that's when I became friends with Rich DM, and Call, doing business, and start doing. He's a cool homie. So at that time, we were really cool, bro, and had his back against Artie and all this other stuff, and I dived into, to see them start attacking the people in the chats. I was just like, dang, they're going after anybody that, and then they were like the juggernaut. They were, whoever rolled with them, they were the ones that were trolling, coming after your business, coming after, whatever, which I think was really fucking pussy shit. And I was just like, all right. And it was just like, all right, well, I'm rolling with the homie. That's who I've been. I don't care how much, I've been watching your content and stuff like that. And, became real friends with these people. And even though I haven't even met the homie yet. So, it was certain shit like that was just going on. And I started watching like, for anybody that was there's a hater, like anyone who bring up the past or, sound outlandish of like, oh, he rolled it up in this, and he was in SNY 50/50, and for a convict, for anything that being in Colorado, any prison, I just knew not to check in. I knew not to roll it up. I knew not to put myself in harm's way of the gambling table, debts, talking behind people's backs, and just staying out the way and staying out the mix. It's really not that hard. I didn't want to be the big dog. I didn't want to be shot caller. I wanted to be the one that's, hey man, that's a cool dude. He'll give you the business. You come over and try fucking with him, and that's how it went down in the system. So, it was just seeing all this stuff of like, and I really didn't care because I wasn't in prison no more. You know what I mean? I didn't carry that gang culture with me no more. I'm a family man. And this is just me explaining my experience of the YouTube Yarda. And, if I seen Leonard, he's not too far from me. He really doesn't live too far from me. And if I really had beef with him, I'm 46, bro, and I'd say, hey, what's up, man? Just, tell him, hey, keep striving, keep doing what you do, because, I'm not going to risk my freedom over being felt that I was fooled and being taken for a fool, let's say. I just don't do it no more. There's a simple thing you could do. Just stop watching, stop supporting, and that's what I did. I don't go out of my way to bash the dude or any of these other people, these content creators, bro. And so as time goes on, things start falling apart. People start breaking off and making their own channels. And the first person I see do that was Smitty. And it was fun. You watch Smitty in his purple robe, playing music, swearing around, being Smitty. And then you start seeing Crusted. Then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing my stuff too about Native American issues. And and you start seeing all these different people coming in, as they call it now, the YouTube Yarda. And once I seen Gil from his platform, American Cholo. I watch him. I watch Sonny. I don't get into their shit, man. Like anything. Like I'm not gonna. I got much love and respect for Sonny and American Cholo. Their beef is their beef, and it's messed up that they're beefing like that. There should be unity. There's the platforms are so small, and enough room to move around in that all these people aren't talking no more. And so, but let's get into the fight. The pay-per-view fight. So this is going to be a little bit longer than the usual content that I put out there, man. So let's get into the fight. So the fight, man, the fight for unity with Cholo Trucker, Big Joe. We got all these people coming on. Rojo, Flacco. I was even pushing for it. I was telling everybody about it. I went bought it in advance. I couldn't wait, and it's going to be on at this time. It's pay-per-view. Let me remind you, pay-per-view. And so pay-per-view, I'm like, it's going to be live. I'm going to watch it. And I'm sitting there waiting. Bam. The fight comes on. After all this stuff, let's get into that. So the fight, big promotion. I'm excited, bro. We're doing all this stuff. It's a big thing. You got all these comedians and everything start coming on because, when you're watching Gunner, he's talking about going behind the handball court. And he's beating up all these people. At a young age, he was a shot caller. He was doing all this crazy stuff. And, he's sitting there watching all this stuff and, hearing him about beating people up in the handball court. It was nothing to go out and fight. And, showing his arms. And just Gunner. And, they're like, hey, man, you want to fight in the ring? And so the fight, we're getting promoted. We're getting all this stuff. We're getting everything set up. I'm promoting it. I'm showing everybody, hey, man, look, there's a fucking fight for unity between North and South. And, it was a good cause. It was a good fight, man. That's what it was supposed to be. You know what I mean? All the stuff's going for charity. All this stuff is going for charity. It's a charity fight. A great thing. And for anybody that knows me, bro, I don't make that much money. And when I did have money. I feed the homeless. I helped families in need. I helped pay rent and do all this other stuff when I was up. So I was like, man, this is a great cause, man. I'm going to go ahead and watch this. I'm promoting it. I'm, telling everybody about it, man. And the day comes on. Bam. What the fuck? There's nothing. Nothing's on, nothing's on, nothing's on. I'm fucking calling Rich, like, what the fuck is going on? Why isn't there fight? Why isn't there no fight? There's everyone's, and nobody's jumping on the line. I was like, man, nobody's coming on and saying anything. Nobody's like, hey, something's going on with this stuff. And then, it was like, whoa, what the fuck, dude? There was nothing. And, I felt some type of way about it. And then come to find out, they're like, hey, the fight's on. And I watch it. And there was nothing about handball courts. There was no warriorism in it. There was, homeboy tripped and fell when he got hit, and he had a broken rib prior before going in the fight. And nobody goes on in live and kind of knows that, they stirred the pot, that they fucking lied to us, and that we were taken advantage of. And that's one thing I don't like, bros, felt being taken advantage of. Support you fully and all this other stuff, man. And so there's no. Then finally somebody goes live, it was Gunner, and it was kind of like I don't know, bro. After that, I felt some type of way. I really, started backtracking all this stuff, and then I started seeing, all the hardship that went through, man, with what I felt was with APA. I know he was out there doing his content, telling his side of the story, and he was being attacked, and all these lies made up about him, and I was on the bandwagon, and like I said, I was rolling with Gunner and everybody else that was in the crew, and it was messed up, man. So when I started coming on and be like, hey, what's up, L? And he'd see, oh shit, what's up, Lucky Loco? I thought you were with them, and it was a messed up time, man. So all this stuff started they started eating their own, bro. They started attacking Flacco, and he was going through it, and trolls are coming after him, and people saying that they're running trains on his wife, and just certain stuff is like, man, just leave that shit out of, attack Flacco. Then his son started getting in, and then started attacking his son, and it's like, damn, dude, you're really gonna do people that dirty, bro, and hide behind a screen and not pull up, or you know what I mean? You're not gonna. It was a bad look, and that's why I started seeing all these moves, and I was just like, man, that's not righteous, and that's not cool. That's not the business, bro. So it was a long time coming, and then it just started coming apart. Started falling apart from the hems. People started exposing each other. Started sending pictures of naked people and all this other stuff, and it was a weird time to be on the YouTube Yarda, bro, and it was really disturbing. It was pretty disgusting, actually, to see grown men that to be acting like this, and it wasn't a good look at all. And so I wasn't no longer prideful of being in the chats or supporting people and be like, man, you're the one that was rolling with Gunner. And to see all this stuff go on, man, and the fake paperwork on Gil, and it was just a really, really bad look. And then, somebody came up and jumped in the scene and, started going after him and started going after and exposing. So, and I hats off to EBK, because he went in and went hard. He made him jump off the camera for a bit because of the embarrassment of what was going on. Yeah, so EBK started going in, and just really just exposing of what was going on, what we already knew, what needed to be said. And he was, at the time, Gunner the Juggernaut, plowing down platforms. And we were shit shows compared to what he was saying. Doesn't matter what we contributed to his pockets or anything like that. It's a shit show, whatever, a shit channel. You only got that much subscribers and all this other stuff. And it's like, man, I get to go outside. I get to go hang out with people. I get to go, all for nothing. I'm out in public, man. I'm not out here, cell soldiering and all this other stuff, and to get attention, and lying to people. So, it was like tit for tat. So as time goes on, other channels pops up. There's, after the boogeyman of yappa, 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 and you see videos of The orderly, and if you were named in that thing, you were put in the hat. If Triple OG didn't like you, he's coming at you. And so, as he ran his muck on Gunner, another channel pops up. You don't see his face, you don't hear his voice. Chemoflix comes on and starts, whether, all these other channels, goes after channels I watch, and I support Chemo, man. Everybody's right to their opinion. If they don't like how you rock or how you move, that's, he's gonna tell you, or he's not gonna tell you. He's gonna let your own content tell you of what you said, and with the hilarious Cheech and Chong videos and all these great movies, all these stuff that he finds and makes these awesome videos. I don't care how many premieres I watch, and if it's the same thing with just a couple things added on, I'm watching you, Chemo. I appreciate everything you do for the YouTube yard there, all the stuff that you keep moving, um, and nobody's safe. Nobody's safe at all, man. If you're out there running amok, Chemo's coming after you, man. EBK, upstate point of view. And there's a few people in the chat. Don't hit me up no more. The falling out I had with somebody, and and the crazy thing is I could put that on my mom, my kids, my grandmother. Even though you went and campaigned against me and talked all this shit about me, and I've never once mentioned anything about you to anybody, because it's nobody's business. If anything, you know how I rock. You know how I get down. So whatever you said about me and all this other stuff, man, run with it. Do what you got to do. Just know that I never name dropped you. You can ask anybody in the YouTube yard that I've never mentioned anything, any type of shady shit that you do or anything, man. And it's that's on you, dude. I've never exposed your address or the certain things you told me. Then you do. I don't. That's nobody else's business between me and you, bro. And that's even still, no matter how bad of a falling out or whatever you're gonna go talk about me. I'm not until I see you again. Then I probably never see you again. But when I do go back to the Bay and stuff like that, it's it is what it is, and you know what time it is, and it's just how I am, bro. I'm from the old fucking the '90s before social media. Anything I had to say, make sure you say it to their fucking face, bro. Say it to their face. That's how I am. That's how I was raised, and but it is what it is. I'm not I'm not on YouTube to hurt anybody's feelings or do anything like that. But it was just certain stuff that goes on in this crazy little world, man. These platforms, man. I just want to say, you know, I just want to explain my point, what I had to do. So for me being a day oneer, just want to speak my point of what was going on in the turmoil and all this other stuff. You see people pass away. You see people get arrested. You see people shoot people, and people pass. Yeah, like I said, people passing away. Rest in peace, Sundown, Smitty. Just rest in peace to all the people that were jumping on the lives and stuff like that. Great people that I've met through this mod entertainment. Just certain channels I watch, bro. MC Shadow's dope, bro. I like his content. I like his videos. He keeps it real, man. He's just like me. We just it's not stuff that drama or anything that we jump into, man. It's just certain things that we say and move. It's not the type of channel where you want to crash out and go to prison. I don't want to be doing interviews over running stories over the phone. I like my bed where it's at. I like the option of being able to get up and go work and deal with the day-to-day life struggles, and just don't let this YouTube shit get to your head, man, because a lot of people feel they're above and beyond and that they're untouchable, and they talk a lot of shit. Unless I see a video of you saying that stuff to that person's face, that's just another person like Whack 100 just talking loud and screaming over somebody, and then you don't see nothing. All talk, no walk. Like it's It's unfortunate, it's hard to believe that you people were in the system and hold that type of rank, or, supposedly held that type of rank or that part of life or about that life, to conduct themselves in such an unprofessional manner, to where it's just like, all right, so, back to music, back to what I know, and back to what it is, man. So before I get out of here, man, and go ahead and leave, comment, let me know what you think, because there's a lot of day oneers up in this motherfucker too, man. That I want to know if you feel to take advantage of. Where did you fall off at? Where do you still rock with Homeboy? I'll watch every once in a while, if the content's worthy. But when it comes to stuff about certain stuff, I don't watch. Even when people crash out and tell that they did 19 bodies and comes up that it's true, it's not something to be proud of, man. There's certain stuff out here. There's these people out here hustling, out here taking care of their families, doing their jobs, doing 9 to 5s. These are the people that are out here I respect and honor, man. Not these people that are gonna fake the funk. I mean, you don't gotta be. It's not fake the funk, bro. It's just, share your stories. Don't rehash your shit and think that you have to still be respected for them days, because you don't. We lived it. We survived it. How many of our friends we got fucking that ain't here? You know, how many family members have we broken hearts and bonds with over choices of prison yards and selling drugs in the communities that we destroyed, man? Certain lives that'll never be the same again, because we chose to make a decision that's forever lasting, man. It's your boy Lucky Loco, and I'm out. Comment, let me know what you think of this.